Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going through and ranking every Premier League team's best player. Starting off with Southampton, I've gone for Walker Peters. He's been a brilliant fullback for Southampton in their last 2 seasons, playing a key role in their promotion. He has been the spark in a struggling Southampton team, picking up 2 assists so far this season. Now moving on to Ipswich best player, I've gone for Liam Delap. He has got 8 goals and 2 assists so far this season. He has really given Ipswich a good shot at survival. For Leicester's best player so far this season, I've gone for Stephy Mavididi. A lot of people would go for Jamie Vardy, but he's 38 and not doing the best. He has currently got 3 goals and 1 assist so far this season. Now moving on to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and personally, their best player for me is Matheus Cunha. He has been exceptional for Wolves so far this season, being their most in-form player by far. He has hit new numbers so far this season. Now moving on to Everton's best player, I've gone for Jordan Pickford. The England international has been exceptional for years on years now at Everton. He is Everton's best player in my opinion because of his experience, and even though he's getting on in age a bit, he still managed to produce 8 whole clean sheets so far this season. For a side that's in a relegation fight, that is exceptional. Moving on to Crystal Palace's best player, I've gone for Mark Guehi. The new England international has been exceptional so far this season, and he is also wanted by many clubs such as Chelsea and Liverpool. In an underachieving Crystal Palace side, he still managed to pick up 3 goals, 1 assist and 6 clean sheets so far this season. Now, West Ham's best player. I've gone for Thomas Souček. So far, this has been a terrible season for West Ham. A lot of people thought that they would push for European spots, but they're currently mid-table with no big players performing. Mohamed Kudus, Somerville and a lot of other players have ghosted. And even though Thomas Souček hasn't been that good, he still managed to pick up 5 goals and 1 assist so far this season. Now moving on to Man United's best player. No players really stood out this season, but this one, Amad Diallo. He has been a spark in the worst Man United team in history. He has currently got 6 goals and 6 assists so far this season, even picking up a hat-trick against Southampton. Those are brilliant numbers. Now moving on to Tottenham's best player, another team that is doing terribly so far this season. I've gone for Dejan Kulusevski. The only reason I've gone for him over Solanke is the fact that Solanke's got a long-term injury and won't return till the end of February. The Swede has proved his talent for seasons on seasons now, being one of Tottenham's key players for the past couple of seasons. And the stats don't lie, with 6 goals and 4 assists so far this season, he's been Tottenham's best player. Now moving on to Brentford's best player. They've been playing some brilliant football so far this season, proving everyone wrong because everyone thought they'd struggle without their star boy Ivan Toney. But one player has stood out, and that is Bryan Mbeumo. He has been one of 2 players that have really stood out this season for the Bees, the other being Johan Wissa. But Bryan Mbeumo has definitely been better with 14 goals and 3 assists. He's been outstanding. Now moving on to Fulham's best player, I've gone with Anthony Robinson. He is currently 3rd in the assist charts with 9 assists. Truly exceptional numbers for a fullback. For Brighton's best player, I've gone for João Pedro. He's got 5 goals and 5 assists so far this season, which is brilliant considering he had a little injury earlier on in the season. Now moving on to Bournemouth, another team who are really exceeding expectations so far this season. I've gone for son of legend Patrick Kluivert, Justin Kluivert. He's been exceptional for the Cherries so far this season, picking up 2 hat-tricks so far. That puts his goal tally at 11 goals so far this season. Brilliant figures. Now moving on to Aston Villa's best player, I've gone for Morgan Rogers. The young Englishman has been exceptional in his first proper season as an Aston Villa player. He started most games, and because of that, he's managed to pick up 6 goals and 4 assists so far. Hopefully, he can keep up this form and work his way into the England squad, maybe for the World Cup. Now moving on to Manchester City's best player, I've gone for Josko Gvardiol. The left-back has really started to pick up form. He did well last season, but he's continued that form into this season. City are another team who no one's really stood out, but Erling Haaland has, and so has this player. But Haaland's been less consistent, so I've gone for Josko Gvardiol as their best player. Now moving on to the great Chelsea's best player, I've gone for Moises Caicedo. I'm just kidding. Of course I've gone for Cole Palmer. A lot of people doubted he'd be able to continue his brilliant form from last season into this season, but he's proved the doubters wrong and done absolutely outstanding. He picked up 4 goals against Brighton and a brace against Spurs. He is truly outstanding. Oh, and not to mention, he's also picked up 14 goals and 6 assists. Moving on to Newcastle's best player, I've gone with Alexander Isak. The Swede is truly brilliant. I think, personally, he will come second in the Golden Boot race because no one is catching Mohamed Salah. He had a rough start to the season, not scoring many goals at all, but he's come back and in better form than ever. He's proved his brilliance with 17 goals and 5 assists. That is brilliant. I honestly think he's the next great Newcastle United striker. Now moving on to Nottingham Forest best player. Again, another team that is massively overachieving this season. In my opinion, Nottingham Forest best player is the New Zealand international Chris Wood. He scored 14 goals this season, but Nottingham Forest is one of those teams where everyone deserves this award. Mark Sells in goals been brilliant. Anya in defence has been brilliant. Gibbs White again, he's been brilliant. Everyone's been brilliant. Moving on to the Gunners' best player, I've gone for Gabriel in defence. Him and Saliba have formed a brilliant partnership in the last couple of seasons, and he's proved that again and again this season. He's currently got 7 clean sheets so far this season, which is exceptional for a defender in the Premier League. And finally, moving on to Liverpool's best player, Mohamed Salah. He's in the form of his life so far this season. To be 32 and ripping up the Premier League goal and assist charts, that is outstanding. 19 goals and 13 assists. That's too good. Someone needs to check this guy out. He might be a robot. So as always, thanks for watching and make sure you check out some new videos that are coming soon.